All right, so the periodic table as a tool, let's start off with this. Um, Now, the foremost question is that how does the periodic table help us know more about the world around us? Girls, I'm waiting for your answers. Please hurry up. Everyone, please come up with any answers. You are not supposed to write the answer down. Just tell me verbally that how does the periodic table help us to know more about the world around us? One by one, please answer. अच्छा, इसका मैं थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन दे देती हूँ। 7th क्लास में आपने पढ़ा था आई गेस, पीरियोडिक टेबल पढ़ा था सबने? डू यू रिमेम्बर? या
Yes, ma'am.
तो व्हाट वाज द
Yes.
पीरियोडिक टेबल?
Elements.
Okay, it was a table actually which has why do we call it a table? Because it has columns and it has rows. All right, so how does a periodic table, you have to relate it with the practical life, just as Bisma has told us that it has elements. Okay, it shows us different elements, and where are all these elements present?
Matter.
Okay, but where can you most probably find any of these elements which are present in the periodic table? In general routine, in everyday life, in the world around us, where can you find them?
Lab.
Lab. Okay, you can find them in lab, but in lab they are synthetic. I'm asking that where can we find them naturally?
Everywhere.
Like, for example,
The sea.
what?
Water. The sea.
Water. Yeah, that's a very good example. And
And um, the jewelry shop.
okay, yes, that's also a good example of it. The jewelry shop. What can we see at the jewelry shop?
Gold.
Gold, silver, right? Different types of metals. And all of these metals are also present in at a single place from where everything is extracted. Air. Okay, that's also a good answer, but you are close to my perspective, but you are not reaching it yet. Where can we all the minerals found?
The
Space.
garden.
Dua, space, you cannot find anything in space because space is empty, it's a vacuum. Yes, underground mountains, this is what I'm talking about, that where you can, these are places where you can find all the most of the elements. For example, gardens, Basically, all the elements which are extracted, are extracted from the soil. All right. Everything is present in soil. All of the elements, almost 90% of the elements of the periodic table can be found in soil, and in fact 80% can be found in soil, and another 10% can be found in air and water, and the leftover 10%, which are man-made elements, they can be found in laboratories. All right. So how does it how can we know more about the periodic table, and what does it tell about the world around us? Is that it tells us that which place or which area has which type of element, or what kind of elements are present around us. All right. So these are the learning objectives that identify what the periodic table tells us about the atomic structure of an element. All right. Now we know the basic structure of an atom. Now we'll see it on an element level, that how can we design the atomic structure of a specific element. Practice drawing the atomic structure of different elements and use the periodic table to draw the atomic structure of an element and determine its basic properties. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so here we have a question. It's a board in which you have to add your posts. What would you like to prove? Yes. Okay, another post from Dua, that in groups and number wise. Okay, so actually, yeah, okay, I got it now. That you are saying that the periodic table is organized in form of columns and groups, right? And they are according to the numbers. Yes, very good. Then Bisma is saying that periodic table is sorted out by its proton number. Very good. Yes, exactly. Basically, the arrangement of the elements is according to its proton number. Okay, then the periodic, it has all the elements which are found on Earth. Yes, exactly. It has all the elements found on Earth. And the periodic table is organized based on increasing atomic number of the elements. Exactly. Very good. What is the atomic number? Haika, can you explain it? What is an atomic number? Anyone who can explain what atomic number is? Okay,
Proton numbers.
yeah, proton numbers. Okay, so Abia is saying that it represents chemical elements which are arranged according to according to its atomic number. Girls, what is the difference between atomic number and atomic mass? Can anyone tell me?
मैम एटॉमिक मास वो मास होता है एटम्स का और नंबर होता है कि कितनी क्वांटिटी टाइप.
Yes, almost. Atomic mass is the mass of an atom. What does this mass represent? What does it actually tell us about the structure of atom? Okay, I'll add a post over here that atomic mass. Okay, so I have posted something on the board regarding atomic mass. Atomic mass equals to the number of protons and number of neutrons in an atom. All right. Dua, it's probably your mic. It is switched off. Please turn on your mic. And Fatma has just joined. Fatma, please use the code PQTXN to log into Nearpod because we are doing our class on Nearpod right now. Okay, so this is atomic mass, number of protons and number of neutrons. If we add the number of protons and neutrons of an atom, we come up with its atomic mass. All right, and atomic number. Atomic number can also be called the proton number. And it is the okay, so here I have posted something relevant to atomic number or proton number as well. It is the total number of protons in an atom. All right. And one more thing, that the atomic number is equal to number of electrons. If we talk about a single atom, all right, for example, we are talking about atom carbon. Okay, the atomic number, the atomic mass of carbon is 12. Okay, and atomic number is 6. So atomic number equals to the number of electrons, means that the number of protons in an atom are equal to the number of electrons in that atom. That's how that atom balances itself. All right. The जितने किसी एटम के अंदर प्रोटॉन्स होंगे उसमें उतने ही इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होंगे और उसमें उतने ही न्यूट्रॉन्स होंगे. ठीक है. एटॉमिक मास में हम न्यूट्रॉन्स इस वजह से ऐड करते हैं क्योंकि न्यूट्रॉन्स जो हैं ये न्यूट्रल होते हैं, इनके ऊपर कोई चार्ज नहीं होता. ऑलराइट, so that's why we add neutrons to it, because it just has some mass. It occupies space, it has mass, but it doesn't have any charge on it. That's why in atomic mass we add the protons in electrons and eventually we come up with the total mass of that specific atom. For example, if we take carbon, the atomic mass of carbon, I told you previously, is 12 and its atomic number is 6. Okay, so basically, girls, if you see a periodic table and only atomic number is visible to you, then only by looking at the atomic number you can extract the information that that element has how much protons, how much neutrons, and how much electrons. Because atomic number is the number of protons in the atom and the an atom contains same number of protons, neutrons, and electrons in it. Okay. I think that it is very clear the difference between atomic mass and atomic number. Now, is it clear? Okay, so now let's move on to the next slide. We have got so many good answers about what periodic table is. And one more thing which Bisma has talked about over here, that periodic table is sorted out by its proton number. Yes, periodic table is the elements in the periodic table is arranged in they are arranged in increasing proton number. All right. For example, we'll start off with 1, the element having proton number 1, and then we'll end up in atom having electron number atom having the proton number 119 or maybe 120. This is the total number of elements we have in the periodic table. All right, so Ummehani has shared a picture of periodic table. Thank you, Ummehani. Now, the next question is that how is the periodic table used to determine the properties of elements? Groups are vertical columns in the periodic table, while the periods, they are horizontal rows in the periodic table. One more thing, that if you can see this, have a closer look on it, this digit which is written on the top left hand corner of this element symbol, for example, it's 1 written on hydrogen. This is the proton number, all right, written on the left hand corner of the periodic table. Then helium, we have helium's proton number is 2, or atomic number. Lithium's proton number is 3. Beryllium has proton number 4. Boron has proton number 5. Carbon has proton number 6. Nitrogen has proton number 7. Oxygen has proton number 8. Fluorine's proton number is 9. And neon's proton number is 10. If you see it carefully, then if we double the proton number, in most of the cases, if we double the proton number, then we get its mass, all right, the total mass. So for now, make this one thing very clear, that periods are the horizontal rows in the periodic table, while groups are the vertical columns, all right. And periodic table is sorted in increasing proton number, and this increasing proton number, the proton number increases in the period, okay, not in the column, not in the group. It increases in periods. Is it clear to all of you girls?
यस मैम।
मैम आप ये स्लाइड्स क्लासरूम में सेंड कर देंगी?
जी कर दूंगी. Okay, now let's have a detailed look on the periodic table. On the in the green color, all the elements which are shown over here in light green color, these are all metals. All right. And those ones which are shown in skin or yellow color, they are non-metals. And those which are shown in purple color, they are metalloids. Now let's see what is. This is a slide which distinguishes them. These are all which are the highlighted ones. These are metals. The entire highlighted box is the metals, and only the central box, which is shaded yellow, from group number 3 to 12. These are transition elements. These are all metals, okay? But they are called transition elements because their neutron number it varies. Okay? Are you getting me? Are you with me in this? All these elements shown in green color, they are metals, while those ones which are shaded yellow, they are transition metals. Why are they called transition metals? Because their neutron number is not stable. Okay, they have different numbers of neutrons in them. Now let's see the properties of metals. Metals, they conduct heat and electricity. Metals are ductile and malleable. What is the meaning of ductile and malleable? Can anyone tell me?
Can be molded to form new shapes.
Yes. Malleable means it can be molded to form new shapes. What is the meaning of ductile?
To make wire.
Yes, exactly. To make wires. Then they are shiny, often silvery in color, silvery to gray in color, often. But gold is of golden color, and different metals, all the transition metals, they have different colors. Okay. And they are solid at room temperature except mercury. Mercury is a metal, but it is not solid, it is liquid at room temperature. I hope everyone has seen mercury in glass thermometer. All right. Then we have non-metals, all these elements which are mentioned over here, highlighted in red color. These are non-metals, all right. And another non-metal is hydrogen. Hydrogen, although it is sorted in group 1 and period 1, and its proton number is 1, but it's a non-metal. Okay. Now, what are the properties of non-metals? They are poor conductors of heat and electricity. They usually are solid or gas at room temperature. Only bromine. Bromine is an element in groups number 17, and it is only a non-metal which is liquid at room temperature. Okay, because we can have exceptions. Then they are brittle, they are dull in color. All right, so it's almost that it's a reverse, or you can say a total opposite of the properties of metals, the properties of non-metals. Girls, are you with me? Can
Yes.
you understand everything which
Yes.
has been taught up till now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good. Great. All right. Now, these ones which are highlighted in red color now on your screen, these are called metalloids. Can anyone tell me that why are they known as metalloids? Girls, why are they known as metalloids? Any guesses?
Ma'am, can you please speak it again?
I am asking that why are these purple shaded elements called metalloids?
Ma'am, because they are shiny.
Okay, and they are metals and non-metals. Yes. Basically, metalloids represent properties in of some properties of metals and some of non-metals. Yes, exactly. Almost everyone is right that metalloids, they are called metalloids because they have properties of metals and non-metals both. They are in between, they are in the center. They are neither completely considered as metals because they have different boiling and melting points, and they are not good conductors of heat and electricity. Okay, and they can neither be accepted as purely non-metals because they do not show exactly the properties of non-metals. Okay, so am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
why they are known as metalloids. Okay, so the properties of metalloids, they are in between metals and non-metals.